What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my DIY oil change tutorial. Gonna go ahead and educate y'all on something different today. So sit back, relax, and take some notes. First, we will identify what kind of engine oil our car takes on the engine oil cap. Next, we will learn how to read the dipstick, which tells us how much engine oil is in our car as well. So, once you go ahead and pull out the dipstick, you will see two notches that are on the end of the stick. And typically you want to keep the oil level between this range here and here. Then we will place the wheel chocks behind our rear tires so the car does not roll while we're up underneath it. Then once that's settled, you're going to go ahead and start jacking your car up, which could take some time, so we're going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. The blue stands that you see me placing up underneath my car are what are called jack stands. You want to go ahead and place those in its designated slots up underneath the car. Then it is extremely important to note you should never try to change your engine oil right after you have turned off your car. Your engine is still hot, which translates to your engine oil is still hot. So you must go ahead and let your engine cool down before you start this process. Then we will identify the tools needed to get the job done. So for my oil drain plug, I will need a 13mm socket in order to fit the plug. Then of course we will have the ratchet that will accompany the 13mm socket. Then we will have the recommended amount of engine oil which goes into your car, which you can typically Google. On top of that, we will be replacing the oil filter as well. Then we will have the funnel to put the oil into the car, and the oil drain pan to take out the old engine oil. Then the first component that you see in the video is the oil filter, which we will be replacing. And then right next to that, typically is the oil drain plug, which looks just like a screw. And here's where things can get a little messy. So when you're taking off that oil drain plug with the socket and the ratchet, as soon as that oil drain plugs out, the oil will start spewing straight out in a stream. So you want to make sure that oil drain pan is a few inches back. As you can see here, I made a little bit of a mess because the oil drain plug I didn't remove quick enough. But we're going to go ahead and let all of the oil drain out and then move on to the oil filter. So as we move on to removing the oil filter, I just want to note that there are specially made tools to remove the oil filter that you can find at AutoZone or O'Reilly's. But me personally, I love taking them off by hand because I get a better grip, which is obviously the harder route, but I never stray away from the challenge. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this so we can get it replaced. And side note, there is oil in the oil filter as well, so you will need that oil drain pan to let that old oil drain out before you remove it completely. So once you let that drip finally stop, go ahead and remove the old oil filter and set it in the drain pan. As you can see, also there is still some oil in there, so be careful when you set it in there and not to spill it everywhere. So as mentioned, we leave the old oil filter and the oil drain plug in the pan so we don't lose them. And before we install the new oil filter, we're going to go ahead and apply some of that old oil on the black rubber ring on the new oil filter. Make sure to use a generous to moderate amount of oil on there to make sure it's well lubricated. Then simple enough, we're going to go ahead and screw the new oil filter on and make sure it's on there hand tight. You want to make sure it does not come off by any means. Then naturally, if we would like to screw in the oil drain plug and make sure that is tight as well, but not too tight because once you strip that screw, it will be absolute hell trying to get it off for the next oil change. Simply let the car down off of the jacks and remove the jack stands. Then we'll move on to the engine bay once those two steps are taken care of on both sides. Same thing, repeat the process. Jack up the car off of the jack stands, remove the jack stand, and then simply let the car down. Then of course, we're gonna go ahead and fill the recommended amount of oil into your engine. As you can see here, the oil numbers match. 5W20 is the type of synthetic oil that I use in my own vehicle. Then once that's all said and done, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. You have successfully changed your oil. Have a nice day.